Hello, friends and listeners, party people. Welcome back to another episode of Party XP. I'm your host, Lakan, and this is another solo episode. Jeff took over for the previous one where we had that snowstorm, and I was, getting acclimated to my new job, and we got smacked by another snowstorm. It has been a very rough time up here in the Northeast. I hope everyone's safe out there who is listening. And if you are not from the Northeast, just check it out. You can see that there was like 2 blizzards basically within the span of 3 weeks or so, 3-4 weeks. Yeah, so Jeff didn't want to drive into town. Obviously, there was a state of emergency going on, so not supposed to be on the roads anyway. Of course, unless you absolutely have to. So instead of coming down, he played it safe, stayed with his family, and he wasn't able to get a little bit of space away from everybody to record with me. So I'm just gonna handle the solo one. Rough couple days for us here. I spent basically 5 hours shoveling my cars and driveway, so that was fun yesterday. My back is destroyed. I'm dying. Luckily, there wasn't ice this time, because the issue with the last time we had a snowstorm was that the last 2 hours of it was just frozen rain. So it created this hard crust of ice on top, which just wrecked my low power snowblower. So I had to just chip away at it and shovel it, the old school way. And again, destroyed my back and my shoulders, but get that pump going though. Feels good. I decided that I'm going to go ahead and do a solo episode and cover the Sony State of Play. It has been a couple weeks now since it came out. It is, as of me recording this, it has been almost 2 weeks now since it came out. Almost. But this was a really cool thing to see. I'm usually kind of, I don't know if I'm just kind of burnt out on these State of Plays, or maybe because the Nintendo one was so kind of meh, a couple weeks before that one, and then same with the Xbox one, nothing really came out that really got me excited or anything. But the Sony one actually was pretty cool. I was actually pretty excited for a lot of the stuff on it. So, but yeah, without further ado, go ahead and grab yourself a snack and a drink, and we'll get started. I'm sipping on some tea. It has been very cold, so some nice hot tea is good for me. So, first off, in the trailer, they show Kenna, Scars of Cosmora. So, the first game, I looked really pretty. I never played this one, but it looks very almost like Disney Pixar-y. But yeah, I mean, I hear there's a lot of people who really like this game. I just kind of one of those small dedicated fan bases kind of thing. But yeah, the fact that it's getting a sequel is pretty cool. It does look very pretty. Third person action game, kind of very very much so in that Sony wheelhouse as of right now, kind of what they're doing. So, but yeah, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. I should probably check out the first one. I'm pretty sure I can find the first one now relatively cheap if I buy it secondhand or something. So I'm gonna be able to check it out. And then they have Ghost of Yotei Legends, which is the multiplayer mode for Ghost of Yotei. They added the same thing basically for Ghost of Tsushima, Tsushima Legends, right? That was the multiplayer mode for that one on the PS4 and the PS5. So there's that. They're just adding it's an add-on. Death Stranding 2 is officially coming to PC. I mean, we knew it was gonna come eventually, but cool. I have friends who've been playing Death Stranding. They've been streaming to the Discord. It's been fun to watch. Yeah, again, it's super interesting. I still have to get through Death Stranding 1. It has been, this is just a bit of a minute for me to try to sit down and just try to play it, because I have no idea what the hell's happening. But yeah, cool. It's finally coming to PC. So the next one we got is a game called For Loop. This one is a third-person shooter roguelike from what it looks like, at least from what the trailer looks like. So there's some big old raid mechanics, some big monsters, some shooting, a little bit of first person, a little bit of third person. It looks really fun, actually. I don't know if I know anyone who's gonna pick this one up. Fortunately for my friend group, but I feel like we're just always kind of we're not all in the same kind of wheelhouse of game interests. But it'd be cool to see if maybe me and my crew want to pick this up, or see if I can convince anyone to try this one out with me. Next one, we got Pragmata. So this one has had a demo out on PC for a little while now at this point, right? It's basically I think initially early on people thought this was gonna be more of a third-person shooter game, which it is, but a lot of it is actually kind of like a puzzle game at the same time. They basically just showed another trailer, and I think officially they're getting a demo, I think, on PS5 now, from what it looks like. But yeah, there's been a demo on PC for a little bit, so I've enjoyed it so far. And I think they also showed a release date. I mean, again, I enjoyed the demo. I'm pretty interested in it. I'm probably gonna get around to it eventually, but that'll be added on for my personal backlog. I'm going kind of fast here because there was an hour or so, and they showed a lot of stuff, so I'm going to be moving at a pretty fast pace here. Resident Evil Requiem. We got another trailer here. We got to see a little bit more of the action in the game, a little bit, right? Not really a whole lot here, but more of like a tease. The first person mode. Do we get to see Leon actually shoot his gun here? Because we saw him use a chainsaw before. Yeah, so it's mostly just like a visual trailer at this point. Not really a lot of gameplay or anything, but as of the day of this episode dropping, the Resident Evil Requiem will be out for purchase. So there we go. Next up, we have Legacy of Kain, Defiance Remastered. Uh, I've heard very good things about the Legacy of Kain games. I don't know if it's like a nostalgia thing from the people who have played it, but it's kind of like an OG. What isn't PS2 game? I think it was. I think the first one was a PS1 game. Um, yeah, they got some nice little remastered stuff. That's cool. Again, it's kind of cool to see like a classic kind of get brought back. Again, I've heard very much so like it's kind of like a classic game on the OG PS1, PS2 systems. Next is Brigandine Abyss, so which is a strategy RPG. Yeah, from what's like very anime inspired for the cutscenes or visual novel. Multiple storylines. Yeah, 6 main storylines, then a bunch of side quests across 24 nations. That's cool. Yeah, again, not exactly my type of game, but I'm sure some people are very excited for this one. So there you go. Next up, we have this one. Yeah, this was a bit of surprising. So this one's Dead or Alive 6, Last Round. So this is a re-release or I guess like an ultimate edition essentially of Dead or Alive 6. Same thing that they did for Dead or Alive 5, and don't think they did that with 4. Yeah, I think so. But 5, they had like a bunch of different additions to it, adding more of the content, more DLC, a couple update changes and stuff like that, balancing changes. Similar to how a lot of the fighting games around those times we're starting to patch stuff out, right, or update their games. If I remember correctly, 6 was received relatively okay. I think 5 was appreciated more in the long run because it had more content, even though it had relatively meh netcode. I don't think like rollback was implemented at the time, and I think even for 6 technically there wasn't rollback netcode. That was back in 2019 for 6, so it's been 7 years. Hopefully they can do rollback netcode for this one. But basically 6 is essentially just like a minor shift up from 5. I'm not gonna say a step up because like I know there's some people who still prefer 5 actually in terms of gameplay. I know 6 has a bit of like a darker tone, a little bit more violent overall. Personally, I'm still like a 3 and a 4 guy. I think those are my personal favorites within the series. And then afterwards, they announced that they're currently in development of a new Dead or Alive game, and then there is a short trailer afterwards. So that's cool. It's been a minute, again, about 7 years now, since the last one came out, 2019. So it'd be cool to see what they have here for the next step up, up in the franchise. It's been a minute, and again, from my understanding, was it 5 and 6 were not super different from each other, and 5 to 4 was not super different either. But I think if I recall again, I think 3 and 4 are like the better received ones at the time, and I think even to this day. But yeah, let's see what Koei Tecmo or Team Ninja can do here for their next Dead or Alive game. Again, the trailer was relatively short, not a whole lot shown off in it, but looks good. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the Dead or Alive series has to show up here, because they were kind of that sweet middle ground for me in terms of like how the direction like Tekken went and like how Virtual Fighter went, because Tekken obviously went longer in combos. Virtual Fighter has some combo stuff as well, but different gameplay, right? It's a little more grounded, I guess, technically. And then Dead or Alive is kind of in that right in the middle ground, where it has mostly kind of like footsies based gameplay, kind of reminded me of like Tekken 4 actually, where it's mostly like small bits to try to open up your opponent, and then you can kind of go off for big stuff. So, but yeah, if you haven't checked out the Dead or Alive series in a while, check out 3 or 4 if you can. I think those are really good. And then again, hopefully this next one turns out pretty good. Okay, next up, we got a trailer for Control Resonant. So basically Control, right? But now instead of it being like a third-person shooter gravity gun game, it is now basically a melee game now. Big punches, some spears. I think it's like Big Hammer is the main character's main weapon at this point. So Yeah, excited again. Just more vision of it, so it looks cool. And there's like a weird little thing right at the end that shows like a boss fight. I think from what it looks like nice and creepy. Oh, good. Looks good. Okay, yeah, so next up we got Crimson Moon, an upcoming gothic action RPG developed by Probably Monsters. So they showed a trailer here on the PS5 State of Play. It is coming out on everything from my understanding though. Let me see, let me make sure. Yeah, 2026 on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Yeah, so it's like, kind of like a co-op, optional two-player co-op, Souls-like, I guess, or action RPG, I don't know. But yeah, it looks pretty good. It looks fun. The aesthetic's pretty cool. Next up, we have Beast of Reincarnation, which is the Game Freak game, I believe. Basically, the Pokemon developers, if they had a budget. Yeah, this is good. This still looks good. Again, I'm just kind of waiting for this one to come out. Yeah, they just show off like a bit more of the combat here. There's some air juggling going on. There's like missiles and like arrows and stuff like that. So you're fighting off these robots slash like biomechanical plants things going on. So still coming out in August 2026, August 4. So yep, again, looks good. Oh yeah, the Rayman 30th anniversary edition. So basically, it's just it's basically just Rayman with like a bunch of extras in the background, creator commentary kind of thing going on. That's cool. Some extra art and some like an unreleased prototype that went on. There's gonna be available for here too. So it's good. Cool. I wonder if they're gonna do any more for Rayman because again, this is 30th anniversary. There hasn't been a Rayman game out for a while now. I think it's been like 2013 was the last one, Rayman Legends. So it'd be, it's cool to see her, but it'd be cool if they have like a new one come out. It's been a minute. Next up, we got Mina the Hollower. So this is coming out on everything, but it came out. Yeah, it got shown here during the State of Play, which is cool. I've gotten to play the one of the demos for this one. This was at PAX, I think, like 2 years ago now when I played it. This game played very good during that demo. I know this game got delayed, so we were kind of waiting on it to see what happens. Mina the Hollower is a top-down 2D exploration action game. Think of like a Legend of Zelda, or like imagine like Castlevania in like a Legend of Zelda setting where you can go up, down, left, right, explore, and then you have like this like chain whip as your main weapon. You can burrow underneath the ground to escape from enemies or avoid attacks. Bunch of like secondary items and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's kind of like what they had so far in the demos. I think there's been 2 demos out now at this point, possibly 3. But yeah, I've been waiting for this game for a minute. This is from Yacht Club Games, so this is their next proper title after Shovel Knight. It's a while ago, but the game was basically done. They were just delaying it to do a little bit of like polishing and fine tuning for a couple things. So yeah, at this point we're gonna have a fully polished and prepped product to come out when this finally does officially release. But there's a new PS5 demo currently out now, basically a day after the actual State of Play happened. So cool, and it is still coming out supposedly spring of this year. So there we go. Next up, we've got Neva Prologue. So it is a prologue to the game Neva, which was the next game that came out from the studio that made Gris. So yeah, it's kind of like more of like the story of how the main character and their wolf ally or wolf companion like kind of became friends and their creation of their bond basically. Very, very pretty. I still have to get through Neva. I started it, got distracted, and then it's kind of been sitting, so I might as well just start over at this point. But yeah, I'm gonna be getting around to it eventually. This looks very, very good. That comes out. It's out already. Again, by the time of this recording, so it's already on PS5, and I'm sure it's on everything else as well too. Okay, so next one we got up is Yako Shinobi Ops. So this is by Shueisha Games and Acquire. This looks, yeah, they said like bringing back the Tenchu days here. The main character looks like Rikimaru, or I guess one of the characters looks like Rikimaru. He has the white hair and everything. Yeah, so it's like a stealth game, but it looks more like a top-down isometric kind of thing. What sound is involved. It actually reminds me very much so of a game that I played before. Let me pull it up here. Shadow Tactics Blade of the Shogun. So that one you play, it is like basically like an isometric, with technically with the spinning camera, but yeah, like almost, semi top down, team version of Tenchu. You control like up to like 4 or 5 characters, I think it was. You kind of flip back and forth between different sections, and you go around assassinating and infiltrating, palaces and other strongholds, basically, which is pretty sick. Looks very similar, but with maybe some more thematic and stylistic touches to it. But this looks really cool. Yako Shinobi Ops. Again, if you're a fan of the old school Tenchu games or the stealth, ninja games, basically, I would probably check this out. Just has some cool monsters going on here. Pretty gruesome designs and experiences here from if you get caught by some of these big old boss monsters. It's pretty cool. The Tenchu games would start off relatively grounded and then would like dive into the Japanese mysticism stuff, like where they would fight like onis, and of course like the vanishing tricks, and there was like the Wrath of Heaven games where they got very magical into those ones. So yeah, like they started off relatively grounded stealth games and would expand. So if it looks like this kind of following that same kind of trajectory. Next up, we got Project Windless. Oh yeah, this is the one with the big chicken, the big buff chicken. I think this is like a adaptation of like a Korean or Chinese story. I think it was. I forgot. I looked it up at one point. This looks insane. Like if you're kind of like at like face value, it's like a big buff chicken with double swords, or a glaive and all this other giant monsters and shit. Yes. Okay. So it was Korean. Yeah. The set in the universe of the acclaimed Korean fantasy novel series, "The Bird That Drinks Tears" by Young Doli. Yeah, this looks fun. It kind of reminds me of the absurdity of like the combat absurdity of like a God of War meets like a Dynasty Warriors because of the big sprawling battlefields your character kind of walks up on, and your character is an absolute unit. Yeah, this is cool. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna get around to this right off the bat. This is again, I got a lot of stuff on my plate already, but this looks pretty good. It looks weird. I like when different weird stories from other cultures get adapted into video game stuff. So that's, oh yeah, I'm willing to try anything. Still in development and no release date yet. Okay, next up, Star Wars Galactic Racer. I don't need any more. I'm so excited for this game already. I'm so excited for this game. I think like there was people talking about like the setting or the timeline, I guess, where this game is. Don't care. I just want to play the Star Wars racing game already. God damn it. Gimme. Still 2026 and no release date yet. Next, we've got 007 First Light. Initially, I was kind of excited for this one. And now I'm even more excited because they're showing that he has this kind of quippiness to him, which is kind of like what the suave Bond should be, right? There's some hot ladies in there. Yeah, the action looks pretty good. I'm hoping that the story's good for this one. I just want the action to be good. It reminds me a little bit of like an Uncharted, in terms of like the way the combat, I guess, is, right? Yeah, with the hand-to-hand combat, the shooting, the cover system. Looks a little bit like Uncharted. I don't recall the Hitman games having a cover system. I haven't played the Hitman game in a minute. I have all of them, the recent ones anyway, but I haven't played them. Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of like Uncharted or the later Splinter Cell games, without the movement, I guess, technically. But yeah, there's some hand-to-hand stuff going on, some disarms, some like destruction around the play areas. That's cool. And May 27, 2026. Again, looks pretty good. Yeah, again, if this plays like a Hitman game or Uncharted game, I'd be perfectly stoked with that as long as the story's good. Next, we have this long section, which is like the Konami section. So this part was pretty interesting to me. So first off, they showed off the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2. So here we're finally getting Metal Gear Solid 4. Sick. I was hoping that it was finally going to get taken off from the PS3 and made available for more other people to play, because obviously the PS3 was a losing console in the beginning of this generation. And then it caught up right at the end because a bunch of big games had dropped for them, and they kind of caught up to Xbox 360. But this is one of the games that I really, really liked. It was, obviously I'm a big fan of Kojima. My brother and I are big fans of Metal Gear Solid games, and we played the hell out of this one. I really liked this one. I like the story of it. Kind of wrapped up a lot of the loose ends. Not all of them, because obviously, at the time, still Kojima had a lot more stuff to write and think about. Some weird shit in this game. I really, really like this game, and I'm happy that it's finally getting brought over. Especially because like a lot of people were talking about like, oh, this is gonna be impossible to do because like there's so much weird shit that specifically ties this game to the PS3 about talking about Blu-rays and the hard drive and not using the memory cards and all this other shit. So Like there was even like an iPod that like Snake carried around, and you could play music from the PS3 in game. So like it's a lot of stuff you have to like worry about. Kind of like now in the world of like the licensing and stuff like that. So that's why I feel like it's like was gonna make this a lot more difficult to bring over initially, and of course like the weird architecture that the PS3 had for a lot of their games. That was I know like a big deal for why PS3 emulation was kind of rough for the first for a while. They've made big strides in doing so in the last couple of years, I believe. From my understanding, like PS3 emulation's good now, or better. And then I've seen some people playing Metal Gear Solid 4 on emulators, and it runs pretty good. So yeah, it's finally cool to see it being brought over properly to another console. And I don't know if maybe they hired some people from the emulation team who were developing it or something, but it's cool that it's available now off of the PS3, off to to more people can get their hands on it. Cool. I'm super stoked for this to come out. I'm probably gonna pick this one up just so I have another available version of this game in my collection. The previous collection didn't really interest me all that much, but this one having uh is it Peace Walker? Is this one? Yeah, Peace Walker, and then I saw they kind of showed it right at the end splash screen that they have Ghost Babel in there as well too, which is sick. Because Ghost Babel, I actually got a copy of that one recently, or Metal Gear Solid on the Game Boy Color. I finally acquired a copy of it, I think last summer. Um, yeah, it's sick. Like it's really cool. It's a very very good Metal Gear Solid game because surprisingly, like the way that they utilize the extra, the game, your original Game Boy Color only has two real buttons, right? Then a start and select, but you incorporate the other two for like your codec menu and your inventory. Yeah, no, this is a solid collection. I think I'm more impressed by this one than I am of this first one. Don't get me wrong, I was stoked for the first one, but this one looks very cool. I've tried playing Peace Walker a couple different times now. Uh, Having this version, maybe making it like available to like my Steam Deck or on my PS5, I guess, and having it like available to like a full size thing, may interest me more in playing it because I do have it on my PS Vita. Yeah, I think it's because it is a PSP game, but available on the PS Vita for like download. But yeah, cool. Very, very excited for this one. Cool to see some more shit for Metal Gear Solid 2. Metal Gear Solid 4 is fantastic. I know a lot of people, early on, people were kind of like mixed on it, but I think it is one of my favorite Metal Gear Solid games. They're also releasing an update for the Metal Gear Solid Collection 1, where they're doing like a high resolution option for the original Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. So there we go. Those getting a little bit of updates here. And Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, the remake, is getting a sale, 50% off right now, currently in the PlayStation Store, at least at the day of the trailer. Next, we've got Darwin's Paradox, which is the new stealth game from Konami. It is a playable demo. It's available now. Yeah, this looks like a fun, goofy game. It's a stealth game. You're playing as an octopus, basically. Obviously they reference Snake a lot too. This looks very fun. Yeah, free demo is currently out, so just check that one out when that comes out. That one's gonna come out on April 2nd. So for the next one, we have got the new Castlevania game, Belmont's Curse. So this one's being developed by Evil Empire, and then advised by Motion Twin. So if you didn't know about these two, so Evil Empire was a co-developer of Dead Cells' DLC packs, basically. So they were the ones who were involved in, what was it? It was Rise of the Giant, Queen of the Sea, and then they had the big one where they had the Return to Castlevania DLC. Cool to see that basically because of the reception of that, and I guess their interaction with them. So they are technically split off into two different studios. They're not the same. Evil Empire, and they're separate. Yeah, so they're still in coordination with each other, which is very cool. Yeah, and they are now in charge of a Castlevania game, which is sick. This looks really good. So it looks like it has a little bit more of that free movement that a Dead Cells might have. The art style is fantastic. It has this 3D rendered characters, but obviously 2D gameplay is a 2.5D, I guess, right? Is that what we're gonna call it? Brings back a lot of the classic monsters. There was a Death, the Medusa, some new weapons going on as well too from Most Type, possibly. Some spells. Yeah, this looks sick. This looks really, really good. So, from my understanding, though, this is not a rogue like. This is a mostly straightforward Castlevania game from what it looks like. Yeah, from what it looks like anyway. So looks good. It looks really, really good. I'm very excited for this one. The movement looks sick. The combat looks fun. The combo potential here, and then a lot of exploration, which is again, which is what kind of what you want for like a Castlevania game, right? But yeah, this looks very, very good. Next, we got a trailer for Silent Hill Townfall. Townfall, I get it. Downfall. Okay. Anyway, so reminds me a lot of the OG Silent Hill game, right? So in the OG game, you're walking around, you have like the radio on you, right? That's kind of your way to avoid monsters and stuff. This one, the new character here has a TV, like a little handheld, like a handheld portable TV. And it looks like that's a way for him to kind of get around stuff. What it looks like here, something like that. I'm stoked. I still haven't gotten to the recent Silent Hill game. I have it in my library, but I guess haven't gotten around to it. But this one looks good as well. I enjoy the atmospheric horror games that are the Silent Hill series. It's just been a minute since I played one. This one does look very good though. Yeah, I'm excited. Next up, we got Rev Noir. Oh yeah, this one. Okay, looks really pretty. A very anime inspired Rev Noir here. Looks like an action game. I don't know if it's an action RPG or a traditional turn based RPG. It looks very cool though. I like the aesthetic of it. Very pretty. I think I have to wait until I see how long the game is before I can see if I can jump into it or not. But it looks good. Next up, very big for me. Big. So we're getting a proper John Wick game. So the only game we ever got for John Wick was John Wick Hex, which was more of like a turn-based strategy game. Which is cool, right? Because you can kind of like watch it play out. Very interesting. But this one looks like to be more of an action game, which is sick. It has the proper aesthetic, the proper sound beats. Like it's always like some sort of like modernized classical music, basically. Like I remember they used to use like Vivaldi a lot in the previous movies. A lot of different pieces from different composers. But yeah, seeing like the John Wick, the little speed reload, the little mag flip out, so sick. I'm curious to see what kind of gameplay this is, because like obviously the whole point is like John Wick is like he gets hurt but he never loses, right? That's kind of the whole point. But this looks very good, and the fact that it sounds like they've got Keanu coming in here proper, that's sick. Excited. I'm really excited for this one. I just want to see where this one goes. Do they have a date here? Okay, so they have some gameplay technically captured on the PS5, but they're like but these are like disarmed, so these are kind of pre-programmed in. Okay. I see there's pencil. There's the lore of the pencil. That'd be cool. I wonder what setting or what timing this is going to be as well too, because maybe this is like previous to the impossible task. I don't know. Okay, next one we got Marathon. So I've been hearing good things about this game recently. So obviously this game got relatively trashed during the original playtest or the beta for it. Saying it looks very generic, the fact that there's no in-game microphone to like interact with other people. I heard the gunplay is good, but like, what are you doing? Like, you're just kind of like going around and looting, and then you kind of extract and whatever. But I understand that's the point of an extraction shooter. But like the fact that there was very minimal interaction aside from just you and the PvE for the most part made it not very exciting. And just again, like so people have kind of gotten a bit more of expansion to extraction shooters, right? From Tarkov, from Delta Squad, I think it was called. Yeah, Delta Squad, Delta Force, one of those two. Arc Raiders, of course, is a big example where people have kind of like, got into it and kind of touched upon it a little bit more and they kind of enjoyed the genre that is, and multiple ways to play it. Not always a super serious game, right? But if this game, it's weird, like the style of it, they're kind of switching to this like kind of like horror aesthetic almost from what it looks like. Yeah, I'm curious. Again, I've been hearing very good things about the recent experiences with this game. They've actually took a lot of the players' complaints and suggestions to heart from what it looks like. They colored up the world a little bit more, which is good because again, seemed very bland when I was watching it last time. I remember they also got some heat with stealing some art from independent artists and putting it into the game without their permission. So there's that too. Again, I understand people are gonna be thrown off by the fact that it's not actually like the Marathon, right? The original Marathon 1 and 2 were Mac games, right? They were basically first person competitor to like a Doom or a Wolfenstein, basically. And very respected for that. There's very good games. So, and the thing is too is I think this game is paid. I think it's like $40, right? It's not even a free game. So they're expecting a lot for players to come pay to try the game. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a bit of a weird one, but it just happens to be kind of the way that the game industry has been going, where everything has to be a game as a service or a live experience, basically, so they can keep the money flowing as people hopefully stay with their games and spend money on microtransactions. It's Bungie, so I'm sure that the gunplay is gonna be pretty solid. Unfortunately, it's like again, it has a bit of a stain around it currently, a bit of a stink. So hopefully the game's good and people can kind of come and try it out, see it their own, and actually experience it and see if they like it or not. There is currently a by the time of this episode coming out, there is a server slam running from February 26th to March 2nd. So, from my understanding, it's free, right? Yeah, so to just look for Marathon Server Slam on whatever platform you're on. You can install it. It's free. That's way you can try it and see if you like the gameplay loop or not. And then if you do, then go ahead and buy the game when it comes out in like a week. I think a week of me recording this. And then something like that. And then if you don't, then whatever, you lost an hour of your time trying the game out. Okay, next up, they've got a bunch of PlayStation Plus games coming out to. Oh yeah, a bunch of games coming out to PlayStation Plus. So they have Spider-Man 2. They got Dark Resurrection. Huh. Really? PSP. Okay. I guess. I don't know if that's the most feature-rich version of the Tekken. Okay, whatever. And then we got this one was cool. Yeah, this is very cool. Seeing Time Crisis. That's and they're using the gyroscope inside of the controller as to act as your gun, basically. Very cool. I'm interested. Why not try them some more? I love Time Crisis. Gabe and I are very big Time Crisis fans. We have like the OG Gun Cons, the Gun Con 2s, Gun Con 3. But yeah, we got a lot of those, and those are very fun. Time Crisis 1 is very, very fun. And it'd be cool if they have the side story, the secondary story. Because like in the original disc, there was there was like a second story you can do in that game as well too, which is very interesting. Where I think you're assaulting like a hotel. I think so. Yeah, then you fight on the rooftop, I believe, afterwards against like a helicopter. Next up, we got coming out. What is this game? Oh yeah, this game was very cute. Big Walk. This looks cute. This looks very fun. A lot of people call it like friend swap games or whatever, but this looks good. Kind of reminds me of like Peak with some more puzzles and stuff like that, basically, some interaction. Okay, next up, we've got Saros. Yeah, so this is a third-person shooter roguelike from what it looks like. It looks pretty cool. Reminds me of like reminds me of like Lost Planet a little bit, like where the big monster fights. It's like bullet hell stuff going on too. It's like a really big dot. Like the enemies shoot a bunch of bullets at you or a bunch of energy balls at you. And this comes out in April. Next up, we got Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. The cool thing with this one was the announcement and the announcement of the next team. I guess this next squad is the X-Men squad. So we've got Storm, Magic, which I think is popular right now because of what is it? Marvel Rivals. And then then we finally get confirmed. I mean, we knew he was gonna be a Wolverine. Yeah, Magic is what? Colossus' sister, I think. Yeah, I think so. And then Wolverine, voiced by Steve Bloom. Heard that voice immediately, recognized it right off the bat. Like, yeah, let's go. And then Danger, which I think is that's like the embodiment of the Danger Room. I think it was, right. Let's see. Let me confirm that. Yes, Danger is the like physical embodiment essentially of the Danger Room of the X-Men, which is cool. I don't really know a whole lot about Danger, but it's cool seeing all four of them doing the combos, the interacts, the tagging, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I'm very excited for this game. I'm not a big tag fighter guy. I'm not good at them. There's usually too much going on. But this looks fun. It's cool to see. So that's going to be the next squad up there, the X-Men squad. We have to see, I guess, who's going to be up with the Cap, Doom, Ghost Rider, and the Spider-Man, I guess, right? What their teams are going to be. Yeah, it'll be cool to see. I'm very excited to see how more content around this comes out. Next, we've got a God of War trilogy remake, which is Surprising, honestly. And also sick because they brought back TC Carlson, the OG Kratos voice. And he's just pulling off this like full like Lando Calrissian smooth vibes, like getting everybody excited. Oh, this is so cool. So yeah, there's gonna be a God of War trilogy remake, a proper remake, and then their final thing I think was the final thing was the Metroidvania, I guess 2D God of War Sons of Sparta. So I guess we're watching young Kratos. Is it co-op? I see there's like other people on the screen here. Oh, and it came out the day of the state of play, which is cool. If you are a fan of those games, I would check it out. I have no idea what the reception is so far in this game. I haven't looked it up myself. But yeah, it looks good. I like I'm pretty open minded to it because the 2D not D makes exactly, but I guess like a change of gameplay style, like how I really enjoyed the Lost Crown. As much as I enjoyed the 2D not D makes exactly, but I guess it's a spin-off, right? The 2.5D side-scrolling platformer, The Lost Crown. If this is just well done and it's good, then I'll check it out. I will absolutely look into it. I like my Metroidvanias. Usually from these ones, I don't know, they're not super long. I remember Lost Crown was like 20 something hours. I think it took me to beat it. So if this is like a 20-30 hour game, yeah, sure, why not slam through it. But yeah, that was the state of play. Again, so a bit of a shorter episode here is mostly just me rambling, but yeah, some cool stuff. Again, like this is one of the first state of plays that I saw in a while where I was actually excited for it and like kind of like positive on it because like I know a lot of people. I don't know if it's just everyone on the internet is just super annoyed and angry all the time. Where there's like, oh no, this is ass. They didn't show the thing that I want, so I'm gonna bitch about it or whatever. And like more often than not, I'm just like, okay, it was fine. Like I'm like whatever. I mean, like I say that, but the Nintendo Direct a couple weeks ago was like the most like 4 out of 10 Direct I've seen in a while. Like there was nothing there new. Everything that came out or was showed there was already out on PC, and I was like, man, nothing. Okay. I mean, again, cool because it's weird because like the Switch people that's their main. If you are a Nintendo Switch 2 person or a Switch person, that's like your main console, right? For a lot of people. So if the PlayStation 1 is a little bit more general, I guess. But the Nintendo one was really meh for me. I still haven't had a reason to like pick up a Nintendo Switch 2 yet because of it. Like there's nothing really out there that's like pulling me for it. I said Bonanza was really good. I started playing it, but I haven't like actually like played it because I don't have a Switch 2 yet. I heard very not great things, like mixed feelings on Metroid Prime 4, and then like Mario Kart. Cool. Okay, I can wait because I'm not buying a console for 2 games. I'm not doing that. So I still have a little bit of time for that, but I can wait on it for getting Switch 2. But this one for the PlayStation 1, very surprised. A lot of new stuff, a lot of announcements, a lot of teasers and trailers, some more gameplay stuff, some more reveals. Again, obviously not every game here is going to be PS5 exclusive, but there's some more content reveals for it, which just gets brings up the hype. I want to say my favorite things of the State of Play would probably be in no order here. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2. The John Wick game, again, I don't know if that's coming out on everything or not, but I'm excited for it. And I will probably throw Tokon and then God of War right at the end because it'd be cool to see a remake of the God of War series. I still have the original God of War 1, 2, and 3 and the collection on the PS3. So I guess that'll be it for me for this one. Again, a little bit shorter one here, kind of rambly, kind of reacting to the state of play. Thank you so much for your understanding that we've been dealing with a multitude of storms here now in the Northeast. And we don't want to risk anything just traveling into town just so we can record in person. So, and obviously with Jeff, his family being hunkered down, he has to take care, with him and his wife and his son. So they're not gonna be able to get a proper recording space sometimes when he's in the home. But yeah, guys, I guess that's it for this one. Leave us a like, leave us a review, share us with a friend. Leave a comment on what was the most interesting for you for the PlayStation State of Play. Again, we're a little bit late to the party here now, but now that I've had a little bit of time to sit and stew on it a little bit, again, I'm pretty excited. Again, I was genuinely very much so satisfied with this State of Play. We appreciate all the support from you guys, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care. My back, everything hurts. Shoveling sucks.